Hello everyone, welcome to Literature Warriors. I would be discussing the poem Upside Down today, and before that, if you have not yet subscribed the channel Literature Warriors, subscribe it now and share it with your friends, especially with the friends who are doing English literature. Well, let me go with the poem now, Upside Down by Alexander Kushner. Well, so when I talk about Alexander Kushner, he was born in 1936 in Russia, and he was a Russian Jewish poet and a Nobel Prize winner as well. And he's graduated from Herzl University and later taught Russian literature. And he was also the editor-in-chief of the Library of the Poet series. Well, that is all about the poet. And what is upside down? Right. Now you can see this is a bottle of nail polish. Now this is how it should be kept on the table. This is the way it should be kept on the table. But if I turn it like this is upside down. So, but this is abnormal. This is not the way it should be kept. This is the normal, accepted way of keeping a nail polish bottle on a table. So, like this, in our lives as well, there should be a way that we ought to be. Not in upside down. It's the way that we should be in the society. So if we are going beyond that negatively, it's not accepted and respected. But if you are going it beyond positively, now for example, now just think about a grade 7 student. That student should read all the pupils' books that he or she has and study them and write the exams, and if there are some practical tests, he or she has to face them. But if the grade 7 student does something new, does some innovative thing, a new invention, it will be respected because she has crossed the boundary of a grade 7 student in a positive way. But being upside down is something negative. Now we will see what is this. Well, the poem is a humorous one, and it talks about a particular character, a boy whose name is upside down, a boy or a man, right? A man called upside down, and he always tries to perform the opposite of the action, and so that he becomes popular in the society, right? So this is something obscure and strange. Doing something opposite to the things that should be done is something obscure, and this person seems to be a nonsensical character. He is doing nonsense, and this poem is also something like that. It is a humorous poem. Woven around a nonsensical character. Now normally this kind of poems have been called as nonsense poems. Now I think you may have heard of the poem Pigtail. In the pigtail, now you know what is a pigtail is. From the hair you can make a pigtail. So there is a sage. Sage is a person, a well-educated person. That person wants to change the place of the pigtail. Now Normally the pigtail hangs at the back of your head, but this sage wants to take it to the front. So it seems to be something ridiculous. So those are, we call them nonsense poems, in the category of nonsense poems. This is also something like that. However, although the character seems to be nonsense, the upside down character seems to be nonsense, he offers the reader some message. Well, and the poet brings out the number of incidents to build up the character, and they all create humor, amusements. Well, now let me go through the poem. The first stanza. Once there lived an upside down who was to talk of all the town. If he was told to turn to right, he turned to left out of spite. Well, so this is what happened. This is the first incident about this person upside down. So this is his name, upside down. So the name itself creates humor. The name creates humor. And you can see a name means one's identity. So the identity of this person itself, humorous. Who was to talk of all the town. Who was to talk of all the town. That means he is famous or popular in the city. Well, and the incentive, if he was told to turn to right, he turned to left out of spite. When he was asked to turn to the right side, he always turned to the left. Out of spite means without any good reason, out of spite. Without any good reason. So this is something important. When we go through the poem, we can find out the importance in this phrase. And when we feel something like this as readers, we just come out with doubts whether this person really doesn't know the correct side or left and right, or he is pretending, or whether he is pretending that he doesn't know this, just to arouse, create amusement. So, however, this behavior, turning to left when he asked to turn to right, is something shows his the upside down's nonsensical and stupid behavior. From this action, the poet tries to show the nonsensical and the stupid behavior of the man upside down. Well, going to the next stanza. This is the second incident. If he went sailing in a boat, no one could make him understand why he seemed to be afloat and what had happened to the land. So this is the second stanza. What happens in the second stanza? When he is asked to sail in a boat, when he should sail in a boat, what he did was he started floating. A float means floating in the water. So instead of sailing in a boat, he started to float in the water. So this is another incident which makes this person a humorous figure, and he creates humor out of his action. So in the second stanza as well, he has fabricated something silly. Fabricated something silly in order to create humor. And with this we can come to a conclusion that this character is definitely far from reality, because instead of sailing in a boat, he is floating in the water. This is the character is far from reality because he is fabricating some incidents to create humor. Well, let me move on to the third stanza. He read his letters backside 4 and wrote his letters backside 4. So, if a ton was to be read, he read it not the dunder head. Well, now in this stanza, this reveals how he deals with the matters of literacy, because letters and reading has been taught here. It's literacy. So, well, and you can see this is something absurd because this person has done something really obscure, because ton has been read as not. He is backside 4 means he is writing and reading from bottom to top. So with this thing, we again come up with doubts as readers whether this person actually illiterate about this, or he is pretending this. However, this is he tries to go beyond the accepted conditions negatively with this reading from bottom to top. He tries to go beyond the accepted conditions negatively. Well, he wants to try something beyond the accepted level, but it's negative, because reading like this, it's something it's in one hand it's humorous, but there is something in depth about it, because this person doesn't know how to read and write. It is a problem to the society, right? Well, so then the fourth stanza is all his life he was afraid to cross a bridge. He'd always wait unless the water was too deep or the embankment was too steep. Now we will see what is this. Sorry, I forgot to tell this in the earlier stanza. The dunderhead. What is dunderhead? Dunderhead means foolish man. So this is something direct about his character. He The poet directly criticizes the silly behavior. Directly criticizes the silly behavior of this man. Well, so here you can see in the fourth stanza, this reveals something. It, in a way, it stands as an eye-opener. Why do we call like that? Because it reveals something he cannot do. That is, he is afraid to cross a bridge. In all his life, he was afraid to cross a bridge. So this is a weakness of him. So it reveals something, some weakness, a weakness of this person upside down. Well, you can see then, and you know now. Well, now wade means he is going through the water. He is instead of crossing the bridge, he is crossing the two banks of the river through water. That is wading. And you know, embankment means the river bank, and steep is too deep. Steep means too deep. Well, so you can see, you know, now there is a bridge. A bridge has been made to make the access to wade through a water easy. To make the access easy. But this man upside down gets into water instead of using the bridge. And this is really exceeding the limits of appreciation, because this cannot be appreciated. Going through water instead of crossing the bridge. This is going beyond the appreciations, and this stanza also exposes an inborn fear of this person. Inborn fear all his life. Inborn fear. And it suggests his weakness. So to hide this weakness, what he does is he goes through the water instead of crossing the bridge, as he is fear of it. But he is pretending that he is doing this thing just for fun, just to make others laugh. So you can see in these two lines, he was quite sane but nervous and full of fear. He is full of fear. And he is acting nonsensical, foolish to cover up his weakness. Acting foolishly to cover up his weakness of fear. To cover up his weakness of. Well, moving on to the next stanza. How went into a restaurant. The waiter said, "What do you want?" He said, "I'd like a pair of socks with clocks on them and in a box." Now see how humorous these words are. Because this man, this behavior, now you can see, asking for pair of socks and watches, the clocks from a restaurant is something ridiculous. Because we all know we are going to a restaurant to buy food, to eat something, right? So this is, you can also see the conversational style. Here the poetess has used questions and answers, the conversational form, to give the exact words of the two people, and it at the same time it arouses humor, a mockery. Well, So you can also note that now this is a restaurant and he is asking for a pair of socks with clocks. So his foolish behavior in this restaurant might be annoying the waiter. Now this answer ridiculous and might be annoying the waiter. Because this is something really funny, because everybody knows, even the blind people know that a restaurant is there for eat. So asking like this is in a way, in the surface meaning, it's funny and it's silly, but it's ridiculous and it might be annoying for the waiter when we see the depth of this situation. Well, so let me move on to the next stanza. It is also something important. It says, the circus came to town one day. Of course he went without delay. And everyone said upside down was funnier than the circus clown. Well, so this is another situation in the life of upside down. So all we know is about the clown. Now the clown is a person who is purposely acting as a funny man just to earn his living. Now we know from the poem The Clown's Wife as well, we know the clown is a person who is acting happily and acting sillily in front of others to earn his living, but inside he is another character. So you know he is funny. A clown is a person who is funny only in front of the audience or on the stage. And upside down seems to be more funnier because it is his real behavior. He has used to do it in his ordinary lifestyle as well. So it's this word, the upside down is was more funnier than the circus clown. So this is irony, sarcasm, and it is also a kind of an exaggerated expression, because clown is the excellent person to make others laugh. But if the upside down can do this comparison is somewhat exaggerated. But however, this can be considered because clown is only clown's job. Clown's job is that making others happy and acting funnier, but it was only confined to the stage. The clown's behavior is only confined to the stage in front of the audience. But this person, the upside down's behavior is original because he is doing same things, acting funny, doing funny things in his ordinary life as well. Okay, this is what happens in the circus. Well, let me go through the last stanza. Just yesterday the postman brought a letter to him from his aunt. Shall I read it? Perhaps I ought, perhaps I will, perhaps I can't. He eyed it this way, I did that. Then he stuck it in his hat. His auntie wrote, Dearest boy, all you do is to annoy, wearing flannels when it's hot, going naked when it's not. You must behave as others do if they are to have respect for you. So this is the message of auntie. Dearest boy, all you do is to annoy. Wearing flannels when it is hot, going naked when it is not. You must behave as others do if they are to have respect for you. So this is what is the final message given in the poem, and this is what the advice given by the aunt to the two upside down. We can see. So this is significant, the letter. The letter is significant. And you can see perhaps, the word perhaps. He has repeated the word perhaps. This shows lack of interest to read the letter from aunt. Well, so this is the content of the message. Content of the letter, and it gives the message. It brings the important message. So now you can see here the aunt. Aunt seems to be the representative or the symbol representing the outside people, the aunt. So she deals with the truth. This is the truth. She deals with truth, and she gives the best advice that she can give to the boy, to upside down. So you can see from this, now the aunt says, dearest boy. This address is also significant. This is very appealing for the boy. When it is addressed, dearest boy, not dear boy, dearest boy, right? So all you do is to annoy. Now you are making people angry. You are wearing flannels when it is hot. Now we don't normally wear flannels or warm clothes when it is hot, but you are going naked when it is not. When it is cold, you are going naked without any clothes. And you must behave as others do. This is, you must behave as others do. You should do this if they are to have respect for you. That means respect is only gained through positive behavior. He is doing something negative, right? Respect can be only gained through positive behavior. This is the important message lies in the poem, because you can make people laugh, you can say anything, you can do anything, but to gain respect from others, you should act positively. Your behavior should be positive. You can go beyond the accepted levels, the accepted conditions in the society, but only if you are doing positive things, if you are behaving positive only, you can go through you can gain the respect from the others. So let me move on through the poem again from the beginning. So in the first stanza, the poet introduces the upside down, the character, and you can see this phrase, out of spite. This word also shows something really ridiculous, because this word shows that this person is doing something without any reason. So we come out with doubts. Then in the second stanza, the poet shows another incident of him where he is floating in the water instead of sailing in a boat. And in the third stanza, it is about his literacy. He is reading and writing from bottom to top, and given some examples as well. And this one, dunderhead, this is a metaphor used to give a direct expression, and the poet directly criticizing the silly behavior of the person using this word dunderhead. Well, in the next stanza, it seems to be an eye-opener, because it exposes the inborn fear, one of the weaknesses of this person, and to cover up his weakness, he is acting silly. Well, next stanza is the incident in the restaurant, and it might also it is ridiculous, and it might annoy the waiter in the restaurant. And the next stanza, it gives another incident. It's in the circus, and the people believe that this person upside down is more funnier than the clown. Well, in the last stanza, it gives the message through aunt's letter, and it is significant because finally the aunt reveals the truth, being an outside person who watches over the silly, ridiculous, absurd actions of this man upside down. She gives a message. So the message is, to get respect, you should behave positively. Your positive behavior is really appreciated, respected upon it, but never for your negative behavior. Well, so this is the end of the poem, and I will be next coming up with some other poems, as well as the techniques and themes of this poem. So thank you everyone for watching.